Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Talking Football with Bengal Jim and friends. And guys, it's game week. It's go time.
It's game week. Put up or shut up. Let's go. On come the Vikings.
It's Christmas in September, so bring the Norsemen down. Let's go.
Our last Sunday without football this past week, man. It's can't wait for this week. Can't wait to get it going, guys. We got a ton of stuff to get into today. We have Duane Haring dialing in from the Cincinnati Bengals. He is director of ticket sales and service for the Cincinnati Bengals. So we're going to talk to him about season tickets, what's going on with the season ticket packages, and see how things are going from a ticket sales perspective. I know they're doing really well. We also have Joe Gooseberry coming on, one of the best social media follows on social media as it relates to Bengals. He's going to go through and give us his prediction on the Vikings. We're going to go through every game of the season and have him give us his prediction. We're going to talk all things Cincinnati Bengals in the start of football season with Joe Gooseberry here today as well, guys. So want to get into a few things. We got a ton of stuff to get through tonight as we go through here. So Jamie is not able to be with us tonight. So James and I are going to do our best to produce this. We got images saved. We all got stuff ready to go. But I'm going to try to share something here with you guys. So as we look at this, guys, this game this week, as I can pull this up, I'm sharing the wrong thing already. Hold on. Uniform combo this week, guys. Beautiful. The all white.
Color rush is back to start the season.
I know next year they're talking about changing the helmet rule on that. So hopefully someday we will have the all white, even with the white helmet there as well. So the all white game day unis with the Bengals orange helmet there. Also, kind of give you guys an update. If I can find this quickly for you guys. We are also, we'll just talk about it. So Ken Anderson's day drinking lager is out today at 16 Lot. You can go today and pick one up. The cans, they are available. But starting tomorrow, deliveries are being made to places all across the tri-state area for these cans. I'm going to try my best to pull this thing back up here. I just got to show and share with you guys where everything's at here. So I am not going to do it because – hold on. I'm going to try one more time here. Not going to do it. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to mess everything up here. But basically, in the cans, you can get them at the Party Source, Jungle Gyms. What other places do we see on there, guys? There was all over
the Casual Pint in Hamilton, which is, I'm shouting that out because it's a local spot that I go to. But I was really impressed with the list of this. You're going to find this beer in a lot of locations. I thought it was only going to be at 16 lots and at Paul Brown Stadium. Not true. I think there's 30, 40 places on that list. So
the Root Cellar in Kenwood and also the T-shirts that go with it are available at Just Brew, the Ken Anderson Alliance coffee shop on Plainfield Road in Silverton. Have those for sale. So, but it would be nice to get the cans for the away games and keep those frosted in the fridge.
I'll try to pull this up here. So if everybody can see this. So I know it's a little bit smaller of a font here, but you'll be able to get drafts pretty much all over the place. If you haven't been to BC Bottle Lodge, that place is awesome. Make sure you check it out. 2 locations, one on Montgomery Road, one up north of Westchester area. Holy Grail is going to have it. Growler House, Paxton Grill, Paul Brown Stadium. When you go to Paul Brown Stadium this year, you will have Kenny's Day Drinking Lager at Paul Brown Stadium. Smoke Justice is going to have them on tap. And here are all the cans. We're going to be able to get those cans. I know a lot of you guys are going to get them, add to your collection, but also put some in the fridge to get those damn things cold. But a lot of cool places on here to pick up these cans as well, pretty much all over the tri-state area to pick these
Not only
up.
those places, be sure to come down to the tailgate. We will have some cans there. Certainly a cool can as I'm looking at it. Definitely a collector's item. Drink the beer, save the can, and we will have it Sunday at the tailgate in addition to those T-shirts. Dell will have some T-shirts available as well. So bring your cash or you can Venmo, and there'll be the Day Drinking Lager T-shirts available Sunday as well.
Memorabilia tip: people like to poke a hole in the bottom of the can to not damage the pop top. So, just
That's a great point.
Could
Just throwing
we
that out there.
could we like make that into a shotgun, or would it come out too slow?
Hey, we'll see what happens. It's gonna be plenty of action at the tailgate. Like I said, it's my first one. I'm ready to go.
We'll bring a couple different size drill bits and try it out. See which one we can shotgun the best.
That's right.
Guys, I have some news. I don't know if it's good or bad. It just tells you how bad the Miami Dolphins are going to be this year. The Miami Dolphins just signed and picked up Bobby Hart. Man, that's just signs of desperation. I'm hoping we're beyond that now. So we're getting rid of our bad offensive linemen, send them to other teams.
False start, Bobby Hart. Oh well.
Fine by me. We play him this year, so that's great.
Also want to give a shout out to our friends at Houday Nation. Appreciate everything that they do. And if you're not following them on Facebook, definitely check them out. So appreciate Josh and the guys over there, and great follow. What are they up to? How many thousands? They're
over 20,000.
Yeah, just growing. And speaking of that, what did we win? 2 games on the social media Fox NFL thing. We beat the Cowboys
and the Kansas City Chiefs. So if everybody it was a Twitter poll that was it CBS, NFL, CBS,
Fox.
or something?
It was
Fox Sports did. And they basically randomly drew and put all the teams against each other, did a big bracket, like a NCAA March Madness bracket. Well, the Bengals drew the Dallas Cowboys right off the bat. It's a popularity contest. You vote, whoever has the most votes move on to the next round. The Bengals absolutely destroyed the Dallas Cowboys. Bengals Twitter's very, very powerful. We beat the Dallas Cowboys, the so-called America's team. And then in the second round, a very close race, very close vote against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bengals wound up winning that one like 52% to 48%, whatever that final total was. And then the Bengals barely got beat by the Denver Broncos in the Elite Eight. So that's a good run. We'll take care of the Denver Broncos on December 19th, James. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of those guys.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried. And, kudos. We talked about the power of social media there, and to beat the nation's team and Super Bowl champs from 2 years ago was impressive. So great job to everybody out there in the Twitterverse, and appreciate the votes.
Yep, good stuff. All right, I'm going to try to share one more thing here. We had our first ever fantasy football draft, and James, this image isn't going to be too big to see, but talk about the draft, man. That was a lot of fun. 14 teams. 14
teams did a Zoom call last Thursday. And was entertaining while many of us were watching the Ohio State-Minnesota game. There's 2 divisions in the inaugural Bengal Gym Football League. We have the Paul Brown division and the Anthony Munoz division. We see some interesting names there. And trash talking is going to start next week on the show. Bengal Gym tried to get every current and ex-Bengal that he could. It was tough. He had some competition. Mon and AJ were trying to steal Bengal Gym's thunder. I think the only time Joe Burrow was ever drafted round number 1 in fantasy football was courtesy of Bengal Gym in this draft. But should be a lot of fun, and we'll keep everybody updated. We kept Tony up past his bedtime because we didn't start this till 9 o'clock at night. But he came away with a good team despite being way past his bedtime, and a great cause. All the money goes to the Javante Woods Foundation. So look forward to a fun season with a lot of people that watch the show and hang out at the tailgate. So thanks to all those who joined.
Tony's doing just fine. He's watching us right now. He might be yawning a little bit, but Tony is on top of it. Don't worry about him.
Look at our buddy Greg. Speaking of the Kenny's Day Drinking Lager, Greg's already been to 16 lots and cracking one open for the show. So kudos to Greg for Josh is drinking that blue can, which we won't even talk about. Won't even compare it.
On my shelf, though.
Gotta
get him on the shelf.
And we had a nice trip to Appalachia and Eastern Ohio for Syracuse game on Saturday night. Jimmy, you were pleasantly surprised about all the messages you got of people that were at the game that were Bengals fans. Some even stopped by the tailgate and said hello. So kudos to those people, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, what a great time. Just love this time of year. Friday night high school football in Cincinnati, Saturday college football, and Sunday Bengals football. There's nothing better. So absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
Johnny Stanger says, "Pick with your heart, Jimmy." We'll
Hey,
see if
I
that
do want
translates.
to say I do got to correct James on one thing. I went Joe Mixon first, and I
Oh,
got Joe
it
Burrow
wasn't?
in the second round.
Oh,
But understand, I did get Evan McPherson. I did get Chase. I got Jamar Chase, and my backup quarterback to Joe Burrow is Andy Dalton, and my backup receiver now is AJ Green, and I also picked Giovanni Bernard as a backup running back. So I am stacked. And I don't care what James and everybody else says in that draft. I'm winning this whole damn thing. We got some side wagers going on this damn thing. So.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. And again, hate missing our buddy Jamie tonight, but he's all well. He's not in jail. We didn't have to send bail money this week. He'll be back next week with us. Oh, here's Jared. Jared was one of the ones that visited us in Athens and his family. He was also in the football league. So it was great meeting Jared and his wife and his 2 girls.
Yep. 2 cuties, man. They were awesome. It was good seeing you, Jared. Thanks for stopping by and seeing us up there. There were some Bengal front office people up there. There's some family members that went to OU. And look, OU is a very small school, a MAC program. Absolutely beautiful stadium, packed house. I know they're not usually packed, but what a fun time. What a fun time. College football
gorgeous.
Back on, and seeing packed stadiums again just makes you feel good, brother.
That was nice for sure. Gorgeous night in Eastern Ohio down there, and just got us even more fired up for this Sunday. Can't wait, and we're going to talk about it. If you don't have your tickets yet, you might want to hurry up and get online. I think we're going to see a full house come Sunday.
It's going to be fun. Josh, we're going to go ahead and try to kick off. Let's do the memorabilia segment. I know Duane is going to be signing on. I'm going to make sure I don't have an email from him on this or a text message yet. So let's go ahead and get to the memorabilia piece, if you don't mind. So
let's do it.
Let me try to do this without messing things up.
While you do that, Jen has a point. We did stop by Joe Burrow Stadium. You didn't download any of those pictures. We did. So thank you.
A lot of fun.
Thank you, Jennifer, for that reminder. We did stop by there and saw the picture and went out on the field and threw a football, and it was nice.
Good stuff.
All right. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You got it.
So, I got a lot of questions at the Memorabilia Roadshow that we did, and people wanted to know what I got into collecting first. What was your first? So I've told you guys in the past that I received a lot of hand-me-downs from my family that were Bengals fans. But the first thing I fell in love with outside of, baseball cards and football cards was the starting lineup figures. And I know that we talked about earlier in the pre-show that Pat McAnally's been on the show before. He gave you guys a lot of the history of these, but I wanted to recamp that real quick. Pat McAnally, he went to Kenner Sports in 1988 and pitched this idea for NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL figurine sets that all included a sports card. There's Pat McAnally right there holding the version that they made of him in 1997. And he pitched this idea to them, and it was a huge success from 1988 to 2001. The Kenner starting lineup figures ran, and they paid homage to him in 1997 when they gave him his first figure. And James pointed out at the Memorabilia Show, on the back of every box, there's a small football logo at the bottom with the number 87 in it, and that 87 is there for Pat McAnally. And that story's been shared before, but those pieces ran. So I began collecting those. My dad would buy them for me, and as I grew up, we would go to all the starting lineup conventions. My first figure was actually not a Bengals figure. It was a Jets figure of Boomer Esiason, because my dad goes, "Oh, there's Boomer," and purchased my first starting lineup. Was actually a New York Jets Boomer Esiason figure. And I started collecting from there on out. So I wanted to show you guys the first incarnate of the Cincinnati Bengals. This is the 1988 set. And James Brooks was one of 5 Bengals that they featured. And just like every starting lineup, if you haven't seen them before, I'm sure that you all have, they come with a trading card of that player, a removable helmet for the football figures, and they all have an action pose based on what position they played. So James Brooks was one of the first players that they did for the Cincinnati Bengals. They actually ended up making, I think, 4 or 5 different James Brooks figures for the starting lineup franchise. Going on next, Jimmy, if you don't mind. Eddie Brown. We're all Eddie Brown fans. Number 81 there with he's doing a little high step in that card. Look at that card right there. He's doing a little high step into the end zone. So I was a huge Eddie Brown fan. That was the first sand knit jersey that I ever owned. I actually got a chance to meet him at the 50th anniversary, and I was so pumped to meet him. My buddy was going through the line getting my jersey signed, and we got up to the car. He didn't even get the jersey signed, so I never got my Eddie Brown jersey autographed, but just a great guy. There's Boomer under center taking the snap. All the cards in that first year were on the white back card, so those cards today, if you get them out of the package, are still worth a pretty decent amount of money. But Boomer was in that set there.
And that's a unique pose. I don't think they, along those lines, Josh, I don't think they did that pose for many years. That was one of the few years where they actually did that pose, I believe.
It's like Josh froze.
Outside of 1988, I'm not sure. I agree with you. I'm not sure if they ever. I'm not sure if they ever recanted that pose again after the 1988 season. This one here's my favorite one. That is the 1988 Chris Collinsworth. It's the only Chris Collinsworth version that they ever made. So it's the only figure of him that had come out, in the starting lineup franchise. He's also in a diving for the looks like he's about to fire on into the pylon there to score the touchdown for the Bengals. But that piece is worth a lot of money. And last but not least, Tim Crumry on the defensive line there throwing it up. I had a chance to meet Tim and get mine signed, and it's a great piece. So that was just the first. I mean, there's many, many more. I'm going to show you guys them in increments because there's 39 in total for the Cincinnati Bengals. 5 that first year, and then 1989 they went on with 8 more from the Super Bowl run. So we'll show those in an upcoming week. But the starting lineups were a huge part of my childhood, how I got into collecting, and there's still something that a lot of people go on to collect today. And they only become more and more rare because people like my buddy Hollis hack them up and paint them up into current Joe Burrow and T. Higgins and all those people. So the more that he keeps firing out, the less there are out there to collect.
So that's it. So really good stuff. So Josh, thanks for walking us through some of that. Again, guys, I hope you guys are enjoying our memorabilia segments. We're getting a ton of feedback on that. So we got enough memorabilia stuff to go on for weeks and weeks. Hell, probably for years. Between Josh, me, James, Tom, and Hollis, and everybody else, we got enough to talk about for a long time. So we appreciate you guys tuning in and watching this stuff and giving us feedback on the memorabilia piece of this. So, guys, we have another special guest here. We got Duane Haring. He's director of ticket sales and service for the Cincinnati Bengals. Going to come on. We're going to talk a little bit of where we're at towards selling his Viking games out. I know we're getting close, guys. He's going to talk a little bit about season tickets and some 3-game packages and stuff. So let's welcome to the show, Duane. How you doing, buddy?
Good, Jimmy. How are you, man?
Man, life is good. See, your backdrop is fine, man. See, you wasn't
this
sure what
was
you were
pulled
doing.
together quickly, my friend. Thanks to my wife.
It looks good. It looks good, buddy. It looks good. So, Duane, we appreciate. I know this is kind of last minute. I know we're getting closer and closer to. I know ticket sales have been going pretty damn good this year. Duane, can you talk a little bit about that and how things are going towards the Vikings game?
Yeah, this has been a fun off season. I think you can sense the excitement with our entire fan base. All of Houday Nation is really, really jacked up for this season, and that has certainly translated to ticket sales for us, both on the season ticket sales front, with renewals, and also with our single game ticket sales. So I think that's what you have me on here for. I can share a little bit of insight that, and you've got that scroll going at the bottom, which is great. Love that. As everyone knows, we've been doing this for a few years now, but may not be out there yet for everyone, but we do all of our single game tickets with no fees if you come through Bengals.com. And that I think is truly incredible when you think about anything you try to go to in terms of live events. You get sucked in by that price, and then when you go to the checkout screen, you see all those fees. But come to Bengals.com, you'll be able to purchase single game tickets with no fees. And actually, this is pretty new, but you can actually get single game tickets for our game against the Vikings on Sunday, starting at just $49. Now, there are not many of those seats left, so if you're interested at that price point, I would encourage you to go on quickly. But even if that's not the price point for you, we've got limited availability on all 3 levels of the stadium. So take a look. I think it's the best price going in terms of live NFL entertainment.
Yeah, got it. So Duane, you guys are doing are there 3-game mini packages as well? I think is what you
are. Yeah.
Let me see if I can find these things. I had these up a little earlier, so actually I can pull these up for us here real quick. I'm
Nice.
not usually producing this show, but I'm doing my best right now. So our producer was unable to make. So talk about these 3-game mini packages. I think this is a great idea. I think this is a great thing to do.
Yeah, I think this is for the people who, if you are interested in coming to more than just one game, there's great value in these. Obviously, the best value lives with season tickets, but with these 3-game packs, I think it's a good way to dip your toe in the water and see what it's like to come to a few games. They were all designed with this in mind of trying to get you a game early in the season, middle of the season, and at the end of the season. That orange pack is the one that would include your Vikings game. That one starts at $135. The black pack, the one that's on your left side of your screen, actually starts at $128. That's not per game. That's the total you pay for all 3 games. And then, of course, that stripes pack includes the Packers, which is one of our more in-demand games so far as well.
Got it. Well, hey, so let's say there might be some single seats available. Are there like on game day in the morning at the North ticket? Are they people able to buy tickets if it doesn't completely sell out and there's some single game tickets? People can buy them the day of the game too, maybe.
Yeah, you can walk up. We always would advise you to go online. Our tickets are all mobile this year. It's really, really easy to do. Go online, go to Bengals.com, and pick out your seats in advance. But if you're curious and you want to walk up on day of game, or you don't feel comfortable doing the online process, that's fine. You're obviously left with what inventory is left at that time. But I think that the weather is shaping up to be really, really nice. Should be a nice sunny day, and you can certainly walk up to the North ticket office on game day to purchase tickets. You'll also get them with no fees at the North ticket office.
Got it. So, Duane, we appreciate you coming on, buddy. So I know we're going to push on social media. I know the ticket sales have been going really, really well. I think we had obviously a big hole with COVID last year and craziness last year. I know that things are shooting through the roof with ticket sales. So we just got to get back to some normalcy here and get back to a steady process of selling these damn tickets and getting everybody in the stadium. We cannot wait for Sunday, Duane. It's going to be a full house, whether it takes Saturday night to sell this thing out or not. We're going to make it happen, Duane. It's going to be a lot of fun this year, buddy.
We appreciate you guys. We love the show. Thanks for having me on. I would just tell you this. Joe Burrow, this will be his first time in the NFL to be able to play in front of a full capacity crowd. It would be really, really awesome to be able to say that was a sellout for him. So we would appreciate everyone's help to push this game into a sellout. We don't have very far to go. So jump on board, come out. It's supposed to be an amazing game day experience. We'll hope to see you at the Jungle on Sunday.
Yeah, and Duane hit it right on the nose. Everybody that's viewing right now, guys, the weather, 85 to 87 degrees. It is going to be beautiful out. So if you've ever been to a game sometimes early in the year, it could be 95, 100 degrees with 200% humidity. It's going to be warm, but it's going to be damn nice out Sunday. So, Duane, we appreciate it, buddy. We'll see you down in the Jungle Sunday, and we're gonna push and get this damn thing sold out, bud.
We appreciate you guys. Who Dey,
man. We'll see.
Thanks,
you, buddy.
Duane. All righty. That'll be big. And I as they've said, we're close to it. The weather looks great. If you've never been to Tailgate, come down and bring the family, and be exciting way. I'm just glad we're home to kick off the 2021 season and see our old buddy Mike Zimmer in town, and it's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
All right.
There's no atmosphere in Cincinnati like when Paul Brown sold out and the Jungle's rocking.
That's right.
Nothing.
Absolutely, brother. Nothing. I'm with you, brother. So we're going to talk after we got Joe in the waiting room right now. We're going to bring Joe on, Joe Gooseberry, and we're going to go through all kinds of stuff. But after Joe's off, we are going to get into a ton of tailgate discussion. There's so many questions being asked right now about the tailgate, how it works. We've got a lineup from the time the parking lot opens to the time game time starts. We got everything ready to go. We're going to talk about that after we have Joe on here. But let's go ahead and bring on Joe Gooseberry. Joe, what's going on, big dog? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on again, guys. Nice to see you all.
It's been a while, brother. It's been a little bit.
Has it been? Did I not come on during the draft or just before?
I think it was the draft. That was a long time ago, Joe. Come on.
Was it? Days fly by, man. I don't even know what month it is. Other than football season, that's it.
Hey, Joe, I wanted to say thanks. It was funny. I was sharing with a story with the guys on the screen here. I was like, I wanted a picture of Joe, something unique I couldn't find on social media or somewhere. So Joe, being a good sport, if you saw anything on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, sent me a picture of him and his cat Remy, and I posted that all over the damn internet. So thanks for being a good sport, Joe. We appreciate it, man. That was
no
fun.
problem. I like showing him off. He's a good boy. So
all right. Now we got to put you on the spot, big dog. So Joe knows what he's walking into here, everybody. So he knows exactly what he's walking in here. We're going to put Joe on the spot. And here's what I love about Joe. Look, you can have opinions. It doesn't matter, guys. It's just Joe's going to be objective and state his opinion. Whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. It's just his opinion, right? It doesn't make it true. Joe and I don't agree on everything, right?
Some people don't like it.
I know. And Joe, it's funny because if you say something that, I don't know, maybe Bobby Hart wasn't good, all of a sudden people called you a negative pessimist because you said Bobby Hart wasn't good. Look, let's have fun with this. If Joe says something you don't agree with, it's okay. It's okay. We all have the same goal. We all have the same team we're rooting for. Let's just have fun and discuss this. So we're going to go through a few things. We're going to talk about this Vikings game. Everybody in the screen's got some things ready to go for you. If you have questions for Joe, fire them in our chat area. We'll throw those up here in a little bit for you as well. We're going to go through the entire 2021 season, and Joe's going to give us a game-by-game breakdown of wins and losses. And we got some other things to hit on. So I don't even know where to start with this damn thing, Joe, but I think it's probably proper to start. Let's talk about game week. Let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings and what the hell we have to do to win this game.
Yeah, it's going to be present its challenges as every game does. I mean, obviously the stars for the Vikings are the first thing that's going to jump out to you, whether it's Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, and Dalvin Cook. I mean, if you can stop those guys, which not many teams can, then you're going to be all right. But I think these teams are very similar, to be honest with you. I think they're going to run wide zone. I think they're going to try and put sugar in the A-gap on defense and do Mike Zimmer stuff. The Bengals are going to try and copy that. They have this preseason. I think there's a lot of turnover on defense for both teams. They had a lot of injuries last year, playing guys that aren't in the league for both of these rosters. I think they're closer than Vikings fans would suggest. These rosters they played 5 similar teams last year, 5 common opponents, and actually the Vikings went 2-3 and the Bengals went 3-2 against those same 5 teams. So I think this is a game that you like home field advantage here. You like the element of surprise a little bit with the Bengals being a little underrated, Joe Burrow having his first game back, and the Bengals didn't show Joe Burrow at all. That could go one of 2 ways. I think if you want to know who's an optimist and who's a pessimist, right? The pessimist in you may go, were they hiding him? Is he not ready? Are they going to have to lean on Joe Mixon a little bit more than maybe they did last year? And then I think the optimist would probably say, I think Burrow's going to hit the ground running year 2. I mean, that's what you expect from year 2 franchise quarterback. And if he does, there's a chance he's better than Kirk Cousins right away. And if that's the case, let's go. I mean, both teams got offensive line questions, and I think Burrow is way better under pressure than Kirk Cousins is. So if the Bengals can get a little pressure on their quarterback, I like their chances. I think we should expect the Bengals to win this game. As Bengals fans, we should already lean that way. But don't bring energy into that stadium unless you think the Bengals are winning. And I think we should expect it. We shouldn't hope they win. This should be a game, if they're going where we think this team's going to go ultimately, this game is a winnable game.
Yeah, so that kind of ties in. We talked about some questions we were to ask you for. James, I think you had something that might tie into that comment.
Yeah, Joe, you mentioned the fact of Burrow. Did they hide him in the preseason? Was he still recovering? My thoughts are, we all know he had that serious injury last year in the Washington game. We know medicine has changed. People are coming back faster and better than ever from injuries. Any thoughts on maybe we're rushing him a little too much? Maybe he could use another month of September off before throw him back into the Wolves. What's your thoughts on Joe, and will we see him back 100% on Sunday?
I think Taylor's been pretty strong. Zach Taylor's been pretty strong in saying, we're not going to practice Joe today. Joe wants to, but we're not. We're going to put him on a pitch count. We're going to give him a rest day. I think he'd want to be out there. Just that's how he is. He'd want to be out there every single snap of practice. So you can't trust fully what he says in terms of, I'm healthy or I'm ready, because I think he would say that regardless. If he could go out there in a wheelchair, he would. So I think Taylor needs to be the one to set that tone, and he has throughout camp and preseason, only giving him 3 snaps and says you were getting out of there in that final game. So I think they must feel comfortable with him. I think Burrow, being the confident person he is comfortable. Also, you got to look at it from Taylor's perspective. They have to win this year. If they don't, he's probably gone. So it's not just Burrow's longevity, which I think we all keep an eye on. Taylor has to try and win as many games as he can this year.
Agree. He's got to, and this is the game, if you're looking at W's and L's, this is one that has to be in the W column for sure. I think we need a fast start and definitely got to take care of business at home.
Yep. Tom, I think you had a few things you want to run by Joe as well.
Yeah, Joe, I know you're big into analytics, and certainly just like us, Bengal freaks. As you look at the roster this year, what position group do you think is poised to maybe surprise all of us to be a strength this year for the team that we didn't have in prior years?
I'm going to go with an odd one, and because I think a lot of people would probably have said it was a strength in previous years, but they didn't get the maximum out of it, and that's running back. Having Giovanni Bernard and Joe Mixon the last 3 years, you should have been dynamic. You should have been able to throw them the ball, each one of them. You should be able to get them out of the backfield, create big plays, and they couldn't. There was a lot of games where we were wondering if Gio was either going to get a touch or a carry, or is he going to get involved at all? Mixon dealt with injuries. We wondered if Mixon was going to get more catches or getting more involved in the passing game. I think that was a big thing in getting and releasing Giovanni Bernard for all the great things he did, and with all the years he was here where they had a lot of success, and he was still a good player. I think they realized they needed Mixon on the field on third downs. They needed Mixon on the field in 2-minute drills when this offense needs a play. And I'm excited for that. Because I think that's what Mixon did best. You go back to his Oklahoma days, that draft class with like Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey, these guys are catching passes all the time. I think Mixon can do that. He's more than just a big bruising power back. He's shifty in space. He can catch. And then getting Chris Evans, I think there's going to be a role. Don't be surprised if they throw him one deep ball in week 1 to try and catch the Vikings slipping and, go empty wide, split him out wide and give him a deep ball, because he looks so natural catching that I think that provides a little bit more explosion or versatility that maybe they didn't have. They like to split Gio out, but he wasn't the best hands catcher. He's not like a receiver catching the ball. Chris Evans actually looks like a receiver catching this thing over the shoulder. So I think that gives you something. And I think Samaje Perine is a fine bell cow backup type. So I think they're deep at running back, and I think they'll actually use him this year.
I know I'm going to cheat a little bit. Today you tweeted out some of the weaknesses the Bengals are facing in the first 4 weeks in terms of the other team's offensive line. Do you think we're going to see an improved pass rush this year? And with an improved pass rush, improved productivity from the defensive backfield?
I think we could definitely in that first month, and I think that could be maybe a little bit of fool's gold, because I do think if I were to pick a weakness on this entire roster, maybe the pass rush on this team. And I'm more concerned with the pass rush than I'm actually the pass protection for the offensive line. And I believe that's largely because they could be better than last year. They got nothing out of Geno Atkins and the defensive tackles. The whole room got injured. You really weren't getting anything inside. Carlos Dunlap had to be traded after, everything that went on there. So it really was, Sam Hubbard had injuries too. It really was just Carl Lawson last year. And you can see when you have one good pass rusher, and I'm not just talking about, like Sam Hubbard's quality, but he's not Carl Lawson. He's not Dunlap. He's not Geno Atkins, right? You want Hubbard to be your fourth guy, not your number 2. And I think that's where they're in line right now. Even if Trey Hendrickson is a 1-for-1 for Lawson, or even maybe even a little bit better if he is, but let's just say he's even a 1-for-1. You need a second guy, a third guy. I think they're going to struggle to manufacture pressure. I'm sorry. I think they're going to have to manufacture pressure. And what I mean is dialing up blitzes and different looks and different combos of guys coming. And to me, when you can't do that is like a third and long situation in the fourth quarter where you're going to drop everyone into coverage. You need your 4 guys to rush and win. I do think you can beat bad offensive lines like this week. The Vikings at left tackle, Rashad Hill's barely played in this league, and he hasn't been good when he has played. I think Trey Hendrickson has a chance to dominate and take over a game and earn his money. And, if they get 4 easy games to start with against all bad offensive lines, that's fun. We'll take that. You'd like that to be stretched throughout the year so they can, pick their spots and when they're going to dominate. But we'll take a fast start. The schedule was a gift this year, I think, in the first 6 games or so, besides the Packers, that I think is a really tough team. I think they have a chance to really knock off some wins here in the first month.
Joe, I'm a man cave guy, so I hate to deviate from the Bengals conversation, but
I see it back there.
Who's the best X-Man? Personally, I'm a Nightcrawler guy.
My favorite was Cyclops always. He's the leader, and I think, just his raw emotion and just I think that's a cool power anyways, even though he's kind of blind, he sees things in red, but just being able to flick a switch and just blow somebody through the wall is pretty awesome.
Love it. Since we're on the topic of X-Men, let's go to the wide receivers, the big 3. Who takes the receiving yards title this year? Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, or Tyler Boyd?
Man, I think you could roll is there a 3-sided dice? Is that a thing? Can you do that? I think it'll be different every week, It really will depend on how fast does Chase hit the ground running. the preseason stuff could be wiped away with week one. And I think he's going to get 8-10 targets maybe. If it's not this week, next week, or the week after, they're going to feed him the ball. I think they're very confident. I think they drafted him for a reason. Not that the other receivers weren't good, but that they thought Jamar Chase was a legit number one type receiver and would add something to this group that they didn't have, with some speed and some yards after the catch ability. So I think it could be games where Boyd leads it. It's going to be games where Higgins leads it. I think Higgins looks much better than I expected him to. Like, I go back to my pre-draft evaluations at Clemson, and I thought he's a little stiff, a guy that's going to be a contested type guy. He looks quicker. He looks more agile. If he can, and that usually happens when guys are like 20, 21 coming to the league. Tyler Boyd was the same way. They may not test well, but they don't develop and hit their peak until 22, 23, 24 athletically. And I think we could be seeing that with Higgins. And if that's the case, man, their receiving core is going to be even better than I expected, because I do think Chase is number one. I love Boyd as a slot guy. And if I had to pick, and I know I kind of skirted around that, don't be surprised if it's T. Higgins in terms of yards and touchdowns.
We got a question from a viewer, Joe. Thank you again for joining us. Our buddy Luke asked, and this is jumping ahead 1 week, but he asked, do you think Andy Dalton will be the starter week 2 in Chicago?
Man, that'd be a short leash, huh? If they give him one game. And that's not a good team, though. I look at Chicago, and I think the defense is good. It has been for a while, but their offensive line is bad. I mean, we know bad offensive lines. That's a bad one. And we know how Dalton doesn't do well behind that. He's not that kind of – I think it can make him look worse than he probably is going. I think Dalton can play for a long time still in this league as a spot starter, backup, or, a guy that, needs to play for teams that are in transition. So I would like to see him one more week and against Cincinnati, but I think it could – a guy that doesn't do well in pressure and really can't run as well as like a Justin Fields, he's going to make that O-line look a little bit worse than maybe it is, and it's bad. So I think the leash could be short, but I'm hoping we see him one more week.
Our buddy Greg has one. Joe, who will be the Bengals' biggest surprise this season?
I'm hoping it's Logan Wilson. He only had 343 snaps last year. I think it's kind of funny because we talk about offensive line, we talk about pass rush being a little bit weak. We really kind of gloss over linebacker, and most of it is probably because the position it's not that big of an impact position in today's NFL. If you guys can run and cover, you're happy. That's really what they do, but it's D-line that's impact, and you hope to have a good corner and a safety. The Bengals really have a bunch of unknowns at linebacker here. Does Jermaine Pratt take another step? Does Akeem Gaither take another step? They seem to think it's going to be Logan Wilson, and he's primed to be the guy that's going to be out there every down. Coming from a small school and only playing less than 400 snaps last year, he's going to be in line for 1,000 snaps. If he's good, what a big boost that would be to this defense.
Yep. So a couple other things here before we get to – we're going to close the segment here, Joe, with you. We're going through the whole season. We'll go game by game. But talk about a few more of the position groups for us. Obviously, the so-called kicking competition in camp. Let's talk about our boy Evan, man. What a hopefully a long-term 10, 15-year kicker we have here in Cincinnati.
Isn't that nice? I mean, it's kind of redemption for a few years ago drafting a kicker in Jake Elliott and not really having the foresight that he's your guy. You spent a fifth-round pick. He should be your guy. And I think it was kind of funny this year. I think everyone expected. As soon as McPherson's drafted, they're like, oh, he's our kicker. They're not going to make that mistake again. And plus, Siebert's not that good, right? And then he ends up being pretty good, and he ends up getting picked up and kicking for the Lions now, replacing Randy Bullock. So what a trifecta there of kicking carousel.
Fat Randy.
I'm happy
Joe. Fat Randy.
Yeah,
Fat
that's
Randy.
right.
That's how we affectionately refer to him here on the show. Fat Randy.
With all due respect, Fat Randy, you're correct. And where was I going with this? Oh, I'm just so happy to have a kicker with a strong leg, right? I mean, how long's it been? Even when Mike Nugent was good, right, he didn't have a great leg. Shane Graham didn't have a crazy strong leg. Like, you look at McPherson, he can kick 60, and I'm like, there might be 10 more yards in him, man. He's booting this thing through the uprights. I don't want to kick field goals, though. I want to score touchdowns. So it's kind of like, all right, I hope he is only used in situations where they need a field goal. Absolutely.
Yeah. I guess the other thing I want to hit on, the whole Jesse Bates situation here. So, again, what's the impact with him not signing? I know the Bengals could tag him next year, but I think they just put it to Jesse. Hey, if you're good as you think you are, let's have a hell of a year and we'll pay you at the end of the year. I mean, does that affect him this year in any way, shape, or form, in your opinion?
I'm sure it does. I mean, players say that it really doesn't, that they just focus on the game and everything. But I'm sure it can be a motivating factor. I'm sure it can be a little bit depressing. I'm sure it could weigh on your mind a little bit. I mean, imagine if you were at your job and you only had a 1-year contract and you felt like you were doing a great job. I mean, that's unsettling. Now he'll be fine, right? As long as he doesn't get injured, he will get paid eventually. But still, I would think, that's his perspective as a fan or as a team. I'd want to pay him as early as possible. That's when you save a little bit of money. If you have to tag him and then extend him, you're just adding more guaranteed money because the tag is completely guaranteed to it. I think that's the sticking point. If you look at the Bengals' history, they will pay their players. Like it's kind of a hard thing to discuss because a lot of people say, oh, they're cheap, they didn't do this, they won't spend in free agency. They've shown a different side, right? They've spent in free agency. They've extended guys that were really important. But if you look at guaranteed money in the NFL, it is king in terms of getting players to sign, getting players to extend. And they don't typically give out large chunks of actual guarantee. Now, effectively, they're not going to cut you after 2 or 3 years like some teams will do, but that's not a true guarantee. You know what I mean? They can say, oh, we're not going to cut you for 4 years. You can't guarantee that. I trust you. I believe you. I'd rather see, Jamal Adams is going to get $45 million. Bengals have never given that much out. They've done 28, I think is the most they've ever given out guaranteed. If they've offered Bates 30, he's probably looking at that like, we got to come closer. We can't be 15 million off there.
Yeah, just to let you know, Joe, I just did sign a 3-year deal, $16 million contract with my guy.
Right.
So I'm good. So I'm good for the next 3 years. But let's talk about that all. I know we've talked about every position group here fairly quickly, but I do want to go to that offensive line a little bit more here. So I don't know, man. I guess I feel comfortable with our guards. I'm slightly concerned with our center. I mean, we've got a center who just came off a knee injury, then a rookie. So talk about the offensive line, but specifically center position. We know Trey's a hell of a center. I mean, a very good center in the NFL. But I mean, coming off this the injury, not playing hardly at all in the preseason. Talk about that situation right there.
Yeah, I guess it's very similar to Burrow, right? They gave him those 3 snaps, pulled him out of there, and they're like, oh, he's going to be fine for week 1. I mean, great job to the strength and rehab group and everyone that's walked he and Burrow through that because he was hurt even after Burrow was. So maybe even a more amazing recovery at his age too. I mean, I think he's 30 now, right? So good on Trey Hopkins, but it is concerning. You have Trey Hill backing him up, a 6th-round pick, if I'm correct. That doesn't give you a lot of confidence. The guards don't really have a lot of experience playing center. So it's not a situation where it's like, oh, don't worry, we've got a veteran backup guard we can kick in there. The backup guards are rookies also. So they've got no experience on the inside. Now, I think, same thing at tackle, Fred Johnson can play and can help you. But we saw him at guard last year, and that wasn't good at all. Like I think you can get through a game if you need to with Fred Johnson at tackle. But if he has to play guard, I get very nervous very quickly. So what did the Bengals do on offensive line? Did they improve? Did they improve enough? I think the national narrative is they didn't do enough for Joe Burrow. Jackson Carman's not starting. He was supposed to be the big addition, right? I think Carman will start eventually. Maybe that's a month. Maybe that's 6 weeks. He needs time. He definitely looks like he's in transition, but he got better every preseason game. You can see him doing work after practices and things like that. So I think he's catching on. Deontay Smith, though, I think could also supplant Quentin Spain at some point this year. Maybe it's not right away. Maybe Spain's okay, and maybe it's 8 weeks, 10, 12, whatever it is. I think we could see Smith eventually. He was really good in preseason, really. They might have got a gem there, and it makes everything much better. If those are your 2 guards, and you don't have to worry about guard next year at all, that'd be fantastic, man. Maybe just have to focus on center and how long Riley Reif is going to play for you at right tackle. So I think the idea here at offensive line, though, is they had to raise the floor. They couldn't send out there Billy Price and Bobby Hart and Michael Jordan and Alex Redmond. I mean, those guys barely made rosters. Some of them are on practice squads right now. They had to play those guys way too much last year. The floor of this team, if you'll hear people say, coaches, analysts, you're only as good as maybe your 3rd, 4th, 5th best offensive lineman. It works as a unit. When those guys were that bad, you couldn't have a functional offense from the line standpoint. So they've raised the level. They don't have any bums out there right now going into week 1. And that's a good thing. That's a huge advantage for them. You've got guys that have played in this league. You've got guys that have played well in this league. You just hope they've got enough cohesion to go out there and do it now in week 1. And they just have to be okay. They don't have to be amazing. They just have to do enough.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure I'm repeating this for me and everybody that's viewing right now. I mean, to recap what you just said, their offensive line today is better than what it was last year. Period. They've improved
Completely.
Good. I mean, that's and like you said, we don't have to be a top 5 offensive line unit. So I'm excited. I think they've done some things there, and I think they've taken some steps to get better there.
And we can't ignore Frank Pollock. I mean, he's been talked about enough, so I didn't feel like I had to say anything. But Jim Turner was not – he shouldn't have been in the league. And he was, and you're getting coached and not even coached sometimes. There's things you've heard that are – I'm sure you guys all have – that are just frightening. And to think that you had bad players getting coached that poorly, they really just needed a guy that was solid. And they did, and maybe even got a good offensive line coach.
Yep, I'm with you. I think Frank Pollock might be the biggest pickup. I think we've said that on the show here quite a few times. Pollock might be the biggest pickup in the offseason for this offensive line, period. So, all right. So let's go ahead and do this. Only a couple more things we want to run by you, see if I can pull this up properly here. So we are going to go through the entire season game by game. We don't have to spend a ton of time on it, but I do want to see if I can find it again here. All right. So here's the schedule.
Wait, go back to the starting lineup figures, man.
You missed. You got to go back and watch the show, damn it.
All right.
Although there's some good stuff on the starting lineup, Joe.
There is. I still have some.
We'll fill you in. So let's go through this. So for our viewers right now, what we're going to do is we're putting Joe on the spot. Negative Joe, pessimistic Joe, or
right.
is this just going to be objective Joe? It doesn't matter. At the end of the
day, I need a coin to flip for a couple of these, though, don't I?
Hey, I already gave you my. Tom said something. What did you say, Tom, earlier about my projection? So we're good. Mine's easy, right?
17. Yeah, I'll keep track of yours. But you're 17 no big
That's
deal.
right.
I'm
That's
on
right. So overly optimistic, maybe blindly optimistic, 17-0. But that's sticking to that, Joe. But let's see how close you are to my record. Let's just start week 1. I think you gave us a little bit of a so. Everybody viewing, keep track of this stuff. I'm not keeping track of it. Let's see where Joe winds up on this 17-game schedule here. So go ahead and start off with Minnesota.
I'm going with a win because I think it's a coin flip type game, but it's home. It's Joe Burrow. There should be excitement. That place should be rocking. It better be. You guys, if you're there, it better be loud and crazy. And I'm going to go with the Bengals because I think they not only is a coin flip, but I think if the season's going to go the way we think it can, it starts with a win, I think, in week 1.
Good. All right. So 1-0, optimistic
right.
Joe. Here we go, optimistic
That's
Joe.
Right.
Week 2, we go to Chicago. We will be in Chicago for that game too. That's going to be an interesting call for you, Joe.
No, I think that's an easy one, to be honest with you. I think the way the Bengals match up is great. One of their weaknesses is their defensive line, the Bengals. It's better than the Bears' bad offensive line, and I think that affects Andy Dalton. If it's Dalton in the game, I like our odds. And I know that's our good friend. He's a quarterback for a long time, but I think this offense is going to be good for the Bengals. So I'm not as concerned with the Bears defense because I think good offenses beat good defenses in this league. So I think that's a win.
All right, 2-0. Overly optimistic, Joe, already at 2-0. I don't care what anybody says on social media, Joe. All right, week 3, brother, week 3.
I think they're going to split with the Steelers overall. So I'm going to say this is a loss here, and I know that sucks, and I know I never even want to say it, but I'm going to go with a loss here and save the win for later just because I don't think they're going to run the table the first month. So let's go 2-1 at this point.
Okay. Week 4, which we will talk about here when we're done with this because you're going to be in town for this game,
That's
Joe.
right.
Let's talk about that Jacksonville game.
Yeah, that's a big game in a lot of ways for the Bengals. I mean, the Bengals handled the Jaguars last year, unless Trevor Lawrence is coming out and lighting the world on fire. There's some things about Urban Meyer that make me think he may be in over his head a little bit sometimes, and I just don't know if that means a hot start for them or not. I still like the Bengals looking at the 2 rosters, looking at that being a home game. Bengals at this point are 3-1.
Wow, 3-1 to start the season. Every Bengal fan will take that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to the Green Bay Packers.
Great team, honestly, and Rodgers is tough, man. And I think if you have a disadvantage at quarterback, even if Burrow's a top 10 guy this year, Rodgers is top 3. So, I mean, that is tough. That is tough to outduel those guys. It's tough to be better offensively than that team that's led by the MVP of last year. I'm going to go down with a loss, but, at least it's a fun game, an exciting game.
Got it. All right, we're going up to Detroit. We'll be up at that game, too, this year for an away game, not very far from Cincinnati, the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, it's the Lions, and I think they are pretty close to tanking as you can possibly be. They may be tough out there. They might hit your kneecaps and bite them off, but I don't think they're going to be very good. So I'm going to say at this point the Bengals pick up their 4th win to go 4-2.
Take that all day. Going to the Ratbirds here on October 24th.
We can't touch the Ravens lately, man. I mean, that's probably going to be the test. Like, how good is this team? Can they stay within 20 points of the Ravens one of these days? That would be nice. Can we stop Lamar Jackson, make us not look like we're on the opposite end of these highlight reels?
All right, we're losing Joe a little bit right now. Tell you what, Joe, if you can hear us, go ahead and log back in if you're able to. So we'll wait for Joe.
So he had us 4 wins and.
Okay, Joe, you back, bud? Can you hear us, Joe?
He had us at 4-3 after the Ravens game.
I'm back now. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
You're good, buddy.
That's okay. That's okay. I think you're getting ready to say we're not going to beat the.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, we good? Looks like we got a little delay here, guys. Sorry.
I'll go out on the limb, pick what Joe's going to say. We're going to beat the rookie Zach Wilson and the Jets in New York.
Hold on. So make sure I'm not getting the lag on my end here. So I got him giving us the L at
Baltimore.
At Baltimore, right?
Yes.
And the Jets, Joe, are you still there? Tell you what, we're going to remove him from the room real quick and have him log back in. We'll kick him out of the studio there. And we'll see if he gets back in here with us real quick. So right now he has us at the schedule. He has us at the 4-3 mark, right?
Right. Yep.
There he is.
Any luck, Joe? We sucked all the bandwidth from him.
You still there, Joe?
I'm here.
You there,
Can you hear
Joe?
me now?
Cool. So you gave us the loss at Baltimore. Now we're
I
in
did.
New York Jets.
I think the Jets are a bad team. I'm hoping Zach Wilson isn't lighting the world on fire here. The Bengals get to play all 3 of the, maybe even potentially 4 of the top quarterbacks drafted this year. If Fields is ready by week 2. I have to think it's a win. That's where we get our 5th win and feel pretty good.
Damn, 5-3. Let's go up to the city up north. They come down here to play us.
That's right. I'm going to take the win here. I think let's split with the Browns ultimately and take the win at home. Start off going to the bye week feeling really good. I mean, at this point, we're like, man, is this the 05 Bengals? They're going to have a good offense. They're going to make the playoffs. They're better than people expected right away.
Yep. Now we hit the bye week. 6-3, brother. Cincinnati and Bengal fans will be on fire when that goes down at 6-3. Off the bye week, we go to good old Las Vegas. We will be in Las Vegas. I already have my tickets ready to go. So talk about that Vegas game.
Yeah, the Raiders are such an up and down team. Derek Carr had his best year last year, and I think he's actually turning into a decent quarterback. But the 1 through 53 for them is not very deep. It's not very cohesive. I think the Bengals got a real good shot of winning that on the road. I almost want to make that say like a flip a coin type game. I think at the end you're going to drop a couple that you probably should win or that are close. And I'm going to say let's hear they drop this one.
Damn it. All right. All right, keep going to Pittsburgh, right? You gave us the loss earlier. We're going with the W here.
Now's the win at home. Now they beat Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh at this point now, Big Ben's in shambles. They're ready to wheel him out of here. He's done. He's retiring, and the offensive line is just tore apart, and that's it for them. And
I got a feeling he'll be in a nursing home by then, anyhow. All right,
exactly.
So, the good old Los Angeles Chargers.
Love this one. I think the Chargers can be much better this year. I think if Herbert takes even a small step forward of what he was last year, but I think the analytics and data says it's probably more likely he takes a small step back. And in that case, at home, they got to travel out here. Now it's December. I like that for the Bengals. I like that situation. I'm going to take the win here.
Nice. Good old 49ers. Home.
Yeah, and they should bounce back. And I think maybe by this time Trey Lance is playing. That could be a positive or not. I think for me, by this late in the season, if Lance is playing, it means he's better than Garoppolo, and he's definitely more dynamic than Garoppolo. And I think that actually works against the Bengals. I think Lance could end up being really good. Yeah, he's coming from a small school, but when you got that cannon of an arm, you can run, you can make plays. They're a good roster, right? They just needed to figure out the quarterback position. I'm going to go with a loss here.
Okay. All right. Fair. Denver Broncos, December 19th.
I think the Bengals have the better quarterback, no matter if it's Bridgewater or Locke. So I like the situation. I think we should expect this to be a win.
Yep. Tough last 3 games here. Let's go with the Ravens at home.
And we've got 9 wins here, if I'm correct, right?
We're at 9 wins. We're at 9 wins.
We're at 9 wins, right. I still don't think we're close enough to the Ravens. I think the Ravens are probably the team that wins this division. So I'm going to say this is a loss here, and maybe we get it closer so that we meet them in the playoffs. It doesn't feel like such an insurmountable challenge this time.
Got it. And the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm going to say this is a loss. It's the Chiefs. I mean, it's hard to hang with them. You can't punt. You can't make a mistake. You can't throw an interception. You can't fumble. You have to play a perfect game, and I'm not sure we're ready to just do that just yet.
Okay. And we finish at the city up north, last game of the year.
Yeah, and we're going to win to knock them out of the playoff spot, and we're going to take that last wild card spot from them.
There we go.
So did I just hear Joe give us a 10-7 record? Is that right? I didn't keep track of that very well.
It should be 10-7.
Damn. Joe, I think that's a positive Joe,
Nice,
bro.
Joe.
I think no, it's funny how you said it. I mean, they always see every team seems to win a game they weren't supposed to win, and there's always a game they should have won that they, So you got. I see what you did there, man. So, man, we appreciate it.
You know the last part too. A lot of people said this is a tough schedule. I mean, the first part looks like you can get off to a hot start, but it's the same schedule the Ravens have to play, the Steelers have to play, and the Browns have to play, except they have to play one harder team respectively because of where they placed in the division last year. It's going to be tough for all of them to get wins down the stretch. If you look at all their schedules, I think that's when things get a little even, and I don't think it's that bad when you look at it that way.
So the question here to you, Joe, is 10-7 a playoff team?
I think it is. Remember, we got 7 playoff teams now, so I do. So I think you get the double-digit wins. Now there's probably going to be more double-digit because maybe that's a 9-7 season in a 16-game year, right? But maybe 10 wins isn't what it used to be. But I think you can definitely get in the playoffs there.
Got it. Well, Joe, we appreciate it. There's 2 more quick things we want to talk about, and actually, I thought this was a great question that I think I know, but most people don't. So Brandon from Portsmouth, Ohio, is where does your Bengaldom come from? I know I've heard this story before, but I think there's a lot of people viewing right now that have never heard this before. How'd you become a fan?
We lose Jim there.
How'd you become a fan? How'd you become a fan, Joe, is what he's asking.
I don't have a good story. I don't think it's a good story. I was born in the 80s. I remember my dad talking about somewhat of a rivalry. I live outside of Buffalo, and the Bills, before they got really hot in the early 90s, went to 4 straight Super Bowls. They played the Bengals in the playoffs in the late 80s. And I remember the argument my dad would have is the Bengals can't do that fast-paced offense. That's not fair, yada, yada, yada. Next thing you know, the Bills were running it and were very successful, go to 4 straight. And I thought, as a kid, my dad would bring up the Bengals a lot in the early 90s. And I was like, that must be the rival. My brother's a Bills fan. I look at those helmets. Those are cool. I'll take the Bengals. And, because that's what you do as a young kid that doesn't really know much. And I stuck with it.
That's awesome. I've heard that story, but I know a lot of people watching right now have not heard that story. So, Joe, we appreciate it. We love the insight. We absolutely love following you on social media, on Twitter especially. Obviously, you do a hell of a job. We love the analytics. And I'm looking forward to meeting you for the first time. I know you'll be in town that Thursday night game. I hope to have a beer with you at the tailgate party. You coming in alone? Any of the family coming in with you? Or just
my wife's coming, so we've got. If we meet up, we can't pick the places I know you want to pick, Jim. So we're gonna have to be friendly.
If the kids were coming, we'd have to go to like other places. But yeah, we're good. We're good.
Right.
All right, man. We appreciate it, bud. We look forward to seeing you in town Thursday nights. We'll take a 10-7 record on a playoff berth. Hell yeah,
for
right
sure.
now. And continue to grow. So we appreciate it. Thanks again, buddy. And we will see you here not too far from now, man. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Take care, guys. Hude.
Thanks, Joe. Take care.
See you, buddy.
Good stuff. 10-7. I'll take it.
10-7. So I know, he on Twitter sometimes it comes off a little rough with people. He just doesn't play around. He just whatever on his mind he spits out. I think he's one of the best follows on Twitter. I think he does an outstanding job.
He's from Buffalo, New York. That's how they roll.
His presentation for Willie Anderson was incredible.
Damn it! I should have.
It's one that should be played, replayed, played, and sent to every Hall of Fame voter who's voting on the modern era candidates this fall and in January to decide who's going in. I mean, clearly Willie deserves to be in there, and I thought Joe's study of Willie's going to be the first pro football focus offensive lineman to go in, because those Bengals teams back then kind of glossed over the great player that he was, the Hall of Fame player that he was, and Joe made those points fantastic, and it'll be a big part when he goes in.
Yep. Well, guys, let's close with this. We don't have make any closing comments, but I do want to talk about the tailgate. We're just getting a ton of stuff on the tailgate. Let me try to find this real quick if I can find the image. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second. I need dual monitors. I haven't done that one yet. So let's see. Trying to find, if I can find it on my, here it is. Okay. So guys, we're getting just a ton of folks asking about the tailgate. So let me go down just a little bit of a rundown. I know a lot of you guys are going to be new to the tailgate this year. So let's kind of walk down how this works. Just want to point out right now the location of the tailgate. That right there is the southeast corner of the stadium. Very convenient. We have a grassy area there. It goes down into the Ohio River. We have boats that dock right there. Got plenty of room. We're projecting 300 to 500 people at this tailgate Sunday. The weather's going to be amazing. We got a huge crowd coming. It looks like we got people coming in from all over the country. It looks like we have all over the country. We have 5 different foreign countries fans are coming in from that we are aware of today. It's going to be a massive crowd. So give you an idea, that is literally the south end zone of Paul Brown Stadium. If you sit anywhere in that south end zone like we do, we just walk right we cross the street, go up the ramp, and go right into the stadium. So that is Lot E. You cannot park there unless you have a parking pass. It is very difficult to get a parking pass. I would tell you 95% of the people that tailgate with us park somewhere close and just walk down to us. That's pretty much how that works. There is no charge, no fee to get into the tailgate. You just come in. We do ask if you take any food whatsoever, we'll have a donation jar. We would like you to, if you're able to offset our food cost. We don't sell beer. We can't sell beer. You can BYOB, but Del Hall will be down there with some of the Ken Anderson beer. We'll have some UD Delight from Moorline Brewery. We will have tons of food. Camp Washington Chili is giving us 4 pounds of chili, which is enough to feed 200 people. I'm sorry, enough for 200 conies. We got to go buy the buns and the cheeses, but they're donating 4 gallons of chili for us. We're going to have corn dogs. We're going to have meatballs. We're going to have all kinds of desserts, mets and brats. Plenty of 16 lots, UD Delight. Ken Anderson will stop by and do a toast. Don't know what time that's going to be, guys. He has to make an appearance at the Holy Grail for his beer tapping. And he also has to go over to Smoke Justice, and he's also going to stop at the tailgate and do a quick toast for us. So Ken Anderson will be there. I would urge you not to bring stuff to autograph for him that day. He's going to be in and out of the tailgate pretty quickly. We need to make sure we get him in and out pretty quickly. We'll be doing Bengal bombs. James will be emceeing. We'll have our sound system set up. He'll be doing toast. And if you never heard James do a toast for a Bengal bomb, you're going to just get ready to laugh because it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have a margarita tower. We'll have Bloody Mary bar, some great music all across the board. James emceeing the event for us. Our buddy Dell, he'll be doing Delphies. If you've never been to a tailgate, don't know what a Delphi is, just be ready for it Sunday. It's a lot of fun. We will also have our national and world map for the people that are coming in from out of town. You'll be able to put a pin in whatever area across the country or the world you're coming from. And we will video that and post that on social media for you as well. It's it's the first thing people come in from out of town. They make a beeline to that map. They want to put their pin on the map where they're from. We are also going to have a Nashville recording artist, Scotty Randolph, performing around 11 o'clock, maybe for half an hour, 45 minutes. A lot of crowd participation songs, a lot of cover band stuff. He's more country music, but he can do anything. He is a lot of fun. We've spent a lot of time with Scotty. He performed at a party we were at about 3 weeks ago. The guy is just great and a diehard Bengals fan. Diehard. He played football at Ball State. He's just a diehard Bengals fan. So you're going to love Scotty. So make sure you get there for that. There's going to be a dance off. Tony the Tiger is going to be there. We will be doing a charity raffle that Tony's going to drive for us. The charity raffle is going to be focused on the Ken Anderson Alliance this week. He's going to be selling, basically you buy a card out of a deck of cards. Whatever card you buy, it's going to be $20. You have a chance to win an autographed Ken Anderson jersey, an autographed 6-pack of Kenny's beer, an autographed mini helmet as well. All 3 of those will be given away that day. And it's $20 a card. We'll be doing the drawing for that raffle. It's at the tailgate. You got to be present to participate in that. So I could go on and on, guys. It's just going to be a blast. It is what we make it. And when I say we, it's us, you, and everybody in the screen. When you go out and do something, it is what you make it. The weather's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on. So we look forward to seeing everybody down there Sunday. So, Tom, you're going to be able to make it down this week? I can't remember. I think you
I'll
said
be there. My son and I are going to be there.
Yep. And I know Josh is going to make it.
I will be there with my better half.
Yep. So very excited about Sunday, guys. I would tell you, if you don't have a parking spot for the tailgate, I would say park anywhere you can. I would say 2nd or 3rd Street is probably the most popular spot to park. Park anywhere in an indoor garage or outdoor garage and walk 1 or 2 blocks down to us. It's that close, guys. So we look forward to seeing everybody. And I think, the tailgate does start at 9 a.m. Thanks, Chris. Cookie Girl is telling us that is a county-run lot we're in. The county and city doesn't open. They don't open those lots until 4 hours before game time. That's an NFL rule across the NFL. If it's a county or city-run lot or a team-owned lot, they cannot open it until 4 hours before game time. But just to let you know, we will be down there earlier setting up, and when 9 o'clock comes, we're ready to roll. Okay, there'll be a very little setup that needs to be done at 9 o'clock. So we'll be ready to roll. We'll see you guys down there, and I just can't wait. I don't know, guys. I don't know how you guys can close it here, but
It's Christmas.
I don't know. I don't know if this is a Super Bowl team yet, but I have never been so excited about a season. I think it's a combination of a lot of things, guys. It's the things that are going on social media. It's the things that are going on in that front office, the things that are going on that field. Gone are the, God bless Pac-Man and God bless Vontaze Burfict. Gone are those 15-yard penalties that killed us year after year after year. This team is fresh and new and young and positive, and has one of the best leaders at quarterback we may have ever had. So I'm excited about the season, more than I've ever been in probably forever.
Yeah. We have a kicker. I'm so excited about having a kicker that we are going to win a game on his leg that we were not supposed to win. And I'm not giving up on Jamar Chase. And I expected as early as this game, Justin Jefferson's going to be on the other sideline. And Justin Jefferson is a dog. And Jamar Chase is not going to get shown up by his dude. He is going to compete in this game. And the drops, that's going to be a thing of the past after this Sunday.
Yep. And it's funny. I was joking. Go ahead, Tom.
No, it's Christmas week if you're an NFL fan, if you're a football fan, period. And I think this is the team that turns the needle, in the right direction. We get this year what we were hoping for last year, which was that big step where it's clear, what the vision is, what the goal is, and that's a Super Bowl team. And truthfully, the defense is going to need us. They're going to need us to be loud all game Sunday and to be there and back up our quarterback. And that's the main reason I think we're going to win Sunday, and that's because the Bengals have a better quarterback.
Yeah. And I think T. Higgins' mom and dad will be present at the tailgate, at least stop down for a margarita. I didn't have the margaritas for us last time, but she will have those available this week. I've already got 4 giant things of margarita in the fridge, and we'll put them in the margarita tower for her as well. So look, man, if you've never met Tom or Josh in person, you're going to have that opportunity to do that here Sunday and get your picture taken with them, talk to these guys, because as good as guys as you think they are on the screen, let me tell you something. They're that much better in person. They're the best people in the world, and I can't wait for everybody to meet everybody. And I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of people that view the show that we got to finally meet in person as well. Got to see that Jungle to the Hall and the OU Syracuse game we went to, seeing a bunch of viewers up there. Guys, we really appreciate you viewing. Next Tuesday is Victory Celebration Day here at Talking Football with Bengal Jim and friends. And I will say, Jamar Chase, you made a good point there, Tom. It was a joke I put on social media last week. And if I put something on social media, most of the time it's a joke, unless it's specifically something else. But Jamar Chase, I put a joke that he's been sandbagging, all preseason. He's going to come out with like 10 catches, 122 yards, and two touchdowns this week. Don't be surprised if that guy goes off. I know nothing that you've seen so far has shown that, but be ready for Jamar Chase show Sunday, and I'm calling that one right now. So, and be ready, whoever I'm playing in fantasy football, you're going down. I got Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon. I got Chase. I got Evan McPherson. Game's in the bag, guys. We will see everybody next Tuesday. Can't wait to see you Sunday, however, at the tailgate in the stadium. Hoo day, guys. We'll see you. Thanks again.
Let's go.
Hoo day, baby.